So, welcome to the Critical Endeavour discussion night, where we're discussing. Oh, I'm just trying to not to laugh now. discussion night of the episode Fugue. Here was me trying to avoid any mistakes. Not a good start. Let's start with where we always start with scores out of 10. My score was 8 out of 10. So chat, let me know what you think. Fugue 8 plus, okay. Masonic 8.5. Ivor, yeah, 8. Shop, a high 7, so 7.9 Shop. It's a very good episode, Shop says, but mainly for good moments rather than a good episode. Yes, it's one of those episodes that does sort of push the envelope as far as suspension of disbelief. You don't want to look too closely at it, but it does fall apart a little bit. And things like when they get into the house to find the dead body. Now, there was always a chance, because they brought a torch, they wouldn't have had to turn the lights on. So that means the music would not have been turned on at that time, maybe later. But, and again, the library, when he's chasing him through the library, there's lots of different things that had to go right for that to happen, for Morse to be there, to be stabbed, etc, etc. But as I said, it does hold up very well on repeated views, so I don't mind it. I think it's a good, as I said, I think it's a sort of crazy as a bag of frogs type of episode, but it pulls it off very well. And it's lovely to meet all the Thursday family now, of course. Let me go back, see Shops, yeah. Gila says 8, you love the atmosphere and the music. Yeah, the music's wonderful, certainly is. Ivor, the premise required a lot of suspension of disbelief. It does. It's one of those things where you say, don't pick away at that thread, because it will fall apart. But it never, as I've always said, it doesn't break the suspension of disbelief, unlike some of the later Endeavour episodes. Terry, I'm rounding up 8.5 to 9, okay. Like it slightly less because of confusion, since that's my problem. You're not thick, Terry. I should get a 9, okay. So we're all highs, we're all 8s and 9s, only 1 7 I think, but that's still a good, well above average score as well. Judy, of course it's fun, it's silly and unbelievable in spots, but all the acting is perfect. Set's lovely, yeah, costuming is beautiful, great location work by the location team, great cinematography. Definitely especially at the end, I think. And it's hard to not, no, that's terrible. I was going to do a disservice to the cinematography team, but it's hard to not point your camera in Oxford and it looked lovely. But that's a disservice to the cinematography team. They have done a great, because it's just that anyone can point their camera anywhere, but it's choosing something that not only shows it in a certain way, but it helps the scene as well. And I think the way it was shot on the Trinity College roof was very well done. So yeah, I'll take that back. That sounds terrible, me saying just point a camera and it works. Watch this episode of Fugue, of course, not Moonbeams, and it's never ever made clear why Chief Superintendent Bright allowed the fake Dr. Cronin, Mason Gull, to come to the station as a psychiatrist and talk to the police about the case. Nor is it clear for how long the real Dr. Cronin had been held hostage by Gull and his patients, had not seen Dr. Cronin for counselling. Yeah, I think that's true, Masonic, and I think you just suddenly, I don't think it's ever mentioned by Bright or anyone why Mason Gull was chosen to talk. Again, it's another coincidence, and that you just don't pull at that thread sort of thing. Again, I think we did talk on Sunday about how long had he held Dr. Cronin for, because I don't think I don't think Max ever mentions that, or anyone ever mentions the length of time that it held Dr. Cronin. We have to assume it wasn't long, because you would have to imagine one of his patients or a colleague or something would have mentioned that he disappeared, so it could not have been for very long. Fruffle, hello Fruffle. To me, bright scene, so pleased to bring in Gull to show Morse he wasn't the only smarty in the room. James, when Morse asked the librarian if there were any exits below the Bodleian, what did the librarian mean when he said, "There's a bicycle chain, a pulley railway under the Broad"? Obviously Broad Street in Oxford, but what is a bicycle chain and a pulley railway?
For miles.
And what about exits?
The bicycle chain. It's a pulley railway under the...
There's underground tunnels. Most have been blocked up now, but there's an underground tunnel that runs from the Bodleian to the Radcliffe Camera. I think it's closed now, and there's several tunnels that run underground under the Bodleian to various other places, but there's definitely one I know that runs from the Bodleian to the Radcliffe Camera. So it may be something to do with that. Maybe there's something to help people take books from one place to another, so there's some pulley system they can pull along rather than carrying them. So as I must have made some sort of horizontal dumb waiter type of system. Terry, the mechanical conveyor ran in a tunnel under Broad Street. Oh, yeah, as I was saying, yeah, carrying books and manuscripts between the reading rooms and the old library. Completed. Don, did Mason Gull murder the very first victim, the lady in the boxcar? If so, why? Was a connection to Gull's past? I missed the connection when I viewed the show. I believed he did, but I'm trying to remember why he killed that woman. Thought it was. You've got me questioning myself now. I always thought it definitely was Mason Gull. I was never clear of the reason. Other than my reasoning was always it was just to draw attention to him, to start the whole ball rolling of killing people, to hopefully that Endeavour would find the message behind the door. That was always my reckoning, not a good reason to kill her. Maybe she was an easy target as well, just to start off the whole thing. Where it was even Evelyn Balfour was the daughter of a lady with the surname Tate, yep, who'd been a barmaid at the inn at Wolvercote, where Mason had killed his mother, Gertrude Tate. Full stop there. Where Mason had killed his mother. Gertrude Tate is the name of the barmaid. Evelyn Tate was a daughter. Tate was her maiden name, and America was staying at the inn, and it was the run up to D-Day. Right, okay. That does clear up a bit. So Gertrude Tate was a witness to Mason's killing of his mother. Evelyn was a daughter, right? So that's a connection why everyone connected to his institutionalised, he's trying to kill. Right, as a very nice scene. And as I said on Sunday, it's very interesting that Thursday uses his coat to cover Endeavour and doesn't use Endeavour's coat. Now, of course, you could say that Endeavour's long coat is thinner than Thursday's heavier woolen coat, but I still think Russell was trying to show a fatherly need to help Endeavour, to cover him, keep him safe. So it's a very well written scene. Yeah, it's a lovely scene, Judy. It really as much as I've criticised heavily Russell Lewis for later episodes, I think that's what annoys me more, that he is a very good writer. He does write some fantastic scenes. Mason, I'm guessing Mason Gull must have studied Endeavour while he was in the museum at the asylum. Well, he couldn't have really, because Endeavour's only moved, as far as time's concerned, he's only been in Oxford for about 6 months. So I can't see how. I think it was just blind luck that he came across Endeavour, that he found someone, a kindred spirit, someone as intelligent as him. I think that was just a bonus to get Endeavour, because of course his real target was Thursday. So I just think he got lucky with coming across Endeavour, especially finding the picture of Endeavour in the newspaper, and of course it mentions he sings and he likes opera. Oh, excuse me, I should have.
Find something worth defending.
I thought I had found something.
Music? I suppose music is as good as anything. Go home. Put your best record on. Loud as it'll play. And with every note, you remember. That's something that the darkness couldn't take from you.
So yeah, again, the acting's, I mean, Sean Evans must have learned a lot from Roger Allam as far as acting's concerned. He must have. Endeavour says, I thought I found something. Is that something really music? Yes, yeah, I must admit that's crossed my mind as well, Masonic. I don't, if it was not, then maybe they didn't want to break into what Thursday was saying. But what else would it be? What else would it be if it wasn't music? That's where we need to come to a decision, Masonic. We need to think, what else would it be apart from music? When he says, I thought I had found something. Could he be talking about his life as a police officer? Making him rethink that now again, because of how close he came to maybe being killed. So it could be that he's talking about being the part of the police force. That's where he thought he'd found something. So it's between that and music. It's a good connection for Thursday to make about music. Or music and Roz. Or you think, oh right, you think he's going back to the singer. That's possible, of course, absolutely. Would you be talking about Susan when that happened so many years before? Could be. It could be Susan, could be Rosalind, could be the police force, could be the music.
Morse hadn't shown up.
Yes, well, I imagine getting back to general duties after all this seemed like a holiday.
As far as Bright saying that, oh, you'd be glad to get back to general duties, I don't think he was trying to be nasty. I just think Bright, being the kind of person he is, thinks that this whole kerfuffle on the rooftop, because you can see that Endeavour is quite, unnerved by the whole thing. So I think in a way he was just making a point that, okay, we need something just to calm us down, to something less dangerous, something more mundane that will help you get over this whole situation. So personally, I don't think he was being nasty. Who closed the door of the wagon? I always assume it was Mason Gull, that he was hanging around. Why he was hanging around, why he knew that Endeavour would go back to the wagon, the train wagon, I don't know, but you have to assume it was Mason Gull who closed the door, James. It had to, because the yard man would have said, "Oh yeah, it was me. Sorry, didn't think anybody would be in the wagon." But yeah, it had to be Mason, who just happened to be hanging around. Either that he was following Endeavour. That makes more sense. He was following Endeavour, and then because he followed him to to the train, the railway tracks and the wagons, and that's how he knew he was going there, and then shut him in to A, give him a fright, and B, to reveal the door, the message on the door. Did we already talk about the possible connection? Mason Gull, Hugo de Vries, Masons in the police department. Only in the sense that someone said on my website they thought maybe Mason Gull was the future Hugo de Vries, which I think is a very good theory. And I like that idea. I still like Kent Finn as Hugo de Vries. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be Ludo, but I'm hoping it's Mason Gull. As I said on Sunday, it does fit, because if he does get out in 10 years, 1975, that does fit the rest of his stories as told in the Masonic Mysteries. So thank you everyone, take care, have a lovely week, have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you on Sunday night. Take care everyone.